In our last video, we came to know that the demand curve faced by perfectly competitive firm is horizontal, as firm is the price taker due to the assumption that there are a large number of buyers and sellers in a perfectly competitive market, and products produced by firms are homogeneous. We also learned that the demand curve is also firm's average revenue and marginal revenue curve. In this video, we shall explain why. Let us first see the total revenue curve of individual firms. As we have learned, the income earned by a seller or producer after selling the output is called total revenue. In fact, total revenue is the multiple of price and output. Thus, total revenue can be given as TR equals P multiplied by Q, where TR stands for total revenue, P stands for price of the product under consideration, and Q is the quantity sold of that particular product. As we mentioned while defining total revenue in section A, the behavior of total revenue depends on the market where the firm produces or sells. In a perfectly competitive market, due to the assumption of infinite number of buyers and sellers and product homogeneity, firms appear in the role of price taker. It means firms take the industry determined price and can sell any amount of output at the prevailing market price. Thus, total revenue at any output, which is equal to price per unit multiplied by quantity sold, is a linear function of quantity. In figure, showing quantity along the horizontal axis and total revenue along the vertical axis, we can draw the total revenue curve. As total revenue is a linear function of output, it can be presented as an upward going line passing through the origin, which means total revenue rises with the rise in output. Now, let us see how the average revenue curve looks like under perfect competition. Average revenue refers to the revenue obtained by the seller by selling per unit of the commodity. It is obtained dividing the total revenue by total output. Again, total revenue is the multiple of price and output. And hence, crossing quantity both from numerator and denominator, we find that average revenue equals price. Average revenue is the slope of total revenue geometrically under perfect competition. Let us check it in figure. In figure, average revenue curve will be derived from the total revenue curve. The upper panel shows total revenue curve, and in the lower panel, average revenue curve will be shown. In figure, at Q1 output level, total revenue is AQ1. Average revenue is found dividing total revenue equals AQ1 by output OQ1, which is the slope of OA, shown by point A prime in the lower panel of the figure, which is a point of average revenue curve. Average revenue is A prime Q1. Similarly, at Q2 output level, total revenue is BQ2. Average revenue is found dividing total revenue by quantity, that is BQ2 by OQ2, which is the slope of OB, shown by the point B prime in the lower panel of the figure, which is a point on average revenue curve and is exactly the same as the slope of OA shown by A prime. Average revenue at Q2 is B prime Q2. Following the same procedure, we can generate the other points of average revenue curve. Joining points like A prime and B prime, we can have the average revenue curve, which is nothing but the price line. As we have seen, average revenue equals price. Finally, we shall examine why marginal revenue becomes price under perfect competition. Marginal revenue is the net revenue obtained by selling an additional unit of the commodity. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue which results from the sale of one more or one less unit of output. Mathematically, marginal revenue is the derivative of total revenue. And total revenue is the price multiplied by output. As we know, under perfect competition, firms are price taker, and thus price is fixed. That is why when we differentiate total revenue with respect to quantity, we find price. That is, marginal revenue equals price. In figure, upper panel shows total revenue curve and the lower panel is to draw the marginal revenue curve. We know marginal revenue is the slope of total revenue. As total revenue is a linear function of quantity, its slope at various points like A and B will be same, and thus marginal revenue will be constant. In figure, slope at point A for Q1 output level is shown by A prime in the lower panel, which is equal to the slope at point B for Q2 output level shown by B prime in the lower panel. Both A prime and B prime are points of marginal revenue curve. Therefore, joining them, we can have the marginal revenue curve. Thus, marginal revenue curve will be a horizontal straight line, meaning that it does not change with the change in output, and marginal revenue is always equals price. Clearly, for a perfectly competitive market, average revenue equals price and marginal revenue equals price. Therefore, we can write average revenue equals marginal revenue equals price. And in figure, the horizontal price line, which is in fact the perfectly elastic demand curve for the firm based on the basic assumptions of large number of buyers and sellers and homogeneous product, represents both the average revenue and marginal revenue curve. Thus, under perfect competition, a single line, the price line, plays three roles: the role of average revenue curve, the role of marginal revenue curve, and most importantly, it is the firm's demand curve.